Hey Posh Hearts! It is Simone here, and let's get started on the team trainings for tonight. So we are going to be talking about shipping, and this is going to be my shipping 101. We have talked about shipping quite a few times before, but we're going to encompass it all over again. And if you guys have any questions about any of it, be sure to leave a comment, and I will get to you guys. So, I do have to preface this by saying that I am not a shipping expert. However, I have done my fair share of shipping in the past, and so we're just going to go over what I know about shipping and some of the tips and tricks and how I do it for the biggest bang for your buck, if you will. Okay. Now I say that this is shipping from everything from samples to orders, and I'm going to show you guys an example of different things that I ship. Now, first and foremost, I want to talk about how I ship samples. So obviously getting Posh on the pupil is very, very important, and this is really kind of the basis of your business. If you have the chance to and the opportunity to share Posh with someone, then this is a very easy way for you to do so, okay? And this is how you can share Posh with people and not break the budget, I guess. So if you are starting out, or if this is a new catalog or something like that, then you're going to be sending a ton of different samples out. Now, as amazing as the catalog is, maybe it's not in your budget to send out a catalog to every single person. Now, the second you add a catalog to an order, you've automatically upped your, or to a package, you've automatically upped the cost, the postage cost of that package to at least $2. Okay, so it's over $2 to ship, regardless of what other things you're putting in there. So you're paying for the catalog, you're paying for the cost of shipping, and then whatever else you're throwing in there, so samples or anything like that. Okay, if you do not have that in your budget, or if you are just if you're sending out a ton of samples at once, or if you are not able to send out a billion catalogs, then this is one easy way for you to do it. Now, this is let me show you. So here are a package of, these are flat cellophane bags with adhesive closures. So these are 5 by 7. This is a 100 pack I bought this on Amazon, and I have links for all of the packages, all of the shipping tools that I use. Hey Doris, happy Monday. Yeah, so I have links for all of these things in the files in the team page. So if you guys are looking for specific links of what I purchased, look there, and that will give you guys a good idea. But this is a 5 by 7. I have used smaller before, but I just found whatever was the most inexpensive on Amazon, so that this is what I got. So currently I have the 5 by 7s, and I can't remember the pricing on this, but this is how I do this, and I'm going to show you guys how I do this with regular samples and how I do this with vial samples. So you can actually do this with the vial samples as well. Now this is okay, so you want to have, this is what I recommend, is using something that's sturdy, like your Why Posh or a Posh thank you card or something, some thank you card, anything that's a little bit sturdy, just because I like having that sturdy feel to it, I guess. And then grabbing a couple of samples. So maybe I'm giving out a mask set, okay? And this is what I recommend doing, is kind of taping it so that they stay put on your card, and then sliding it into the envelope here. So then you have it like this. And you're going to sandwich it with whatever else you have to put in. Now this is what I like to do. Then this will fit in here so I have this, okay? I have 2 samples taped to this card, or whatever card I have in there, okay? And then the thing that I love, that I saw a premiere do this, and I think this is like genius, is she takes a page from the catalog. So here is a page from the current catalog, okay? And basically I just went through pretty much every single page that had any Posh product on it, or any useful Posh tidbit on it, and I ripped it up, and then I stuck a label on it that says Love this page from our Posh paper. Find the full catalog online, and then I have my information on there. Now this will fit here in this bag very nicely as well. So the 5x7 will make it so it slides in pretty nicely when it's folded in fourths. However, you can use or fold it in thirds if you'd rather, if it's not going to fit. So I have that. I have this. I have 2 samples in there. Pretend they're taped on there. I forgot my tape. So they're taped on there, so it keeps it kind of flat, right? Now you can even throw in a thank you card. So I have my Y Posh in here right now. Then I can use a handwritten note as well. And this is the other thing that I've been throwing in there that I wasn't sure if it was going to work, but something that I think that you guys should be very happy to hear is that the vial cards with a dough foot applicator taped to it has been working perfectly to send out. So this, and you'll understand why when I get through this, is that so if I do this, okay, and again the dough foot applicator I left downstairs, so I don't have that with me right now. But I tape it on my vial card. I put in a little note on my best vial tips on how to use the vial lips. I throw in my sample card, or my thank you card that I've handwritten. So it's a pretty decent sized sample pack now, right? With or without vial. So again, vial, samples do cost money, so you don't necessarily have to throw in all this stuff, but you can do all of this with a 70-cent stamp. Okay, so after you've done so, seal it up. I have address labels that I throw on here to and from, but you can, write it on a piece of paper and slip it in there as well, whatever works best for you. But basically do that, stick a 70-cent stamp on there. That is a 70-cent non-machinable 2-ounce stamp. So basically anything up to 2 ounces should fit, is from what I understand. Again, don't quote me on this. However, this is, for the most part, this is actually just barely, I think, around 1 ounce. So there's actually surprisingly very light considering how much stuff I've thrown in here. But this you can send out for 70 cents. Now, this is what I'm saying for this, is that you can do this with just about anything that you guys are doing and sending out in Posh. So, for example, this is how you can ship samples to people. This is how you can ship samples when the new catalog comes out, vial samples, thank you cards with a sample, follow-up of any sort. Basically, you can easily do this with a 70-cent stamp. So that postage makes it very, 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 very inexpensive for you to do, and then it's just up to you with what you want to fill in it. Now, basically, the thing that you need to keep in mind is it needs to be less than a 1/4 inch thick, and it can't weigh more than 2 ounces is what I believe. And this is something that you want to hand to the desk, so the post office desk, so that they don't try to stick it in the machine. That's what I do to make sure that it doesn't go through the machine and gets returned to me. So that is kind of my biggest thing. I'm surprised. I am sad that I had not figured that out before, but thanks to a bunch of other premiers that have shared their tidbits, this is what I've been doing for pretty much anything. So unless I absolutely need to send out a catalog, then I don't. I pretty much fill this out or send this out, and I love that I can send this out with a bunch of samples, and I feel like it's enough. Okay, now when you do need to send out a catalog, what can you be sending it with? Now, catalogs are cost about $2 to $3 to ship. That will ship first class as well. So this is all first class mail. If it weighs under 1 pound, go as a first class package or parcel or whatever letter, which means that it's way cheaper. So if you can make sure that it's under 1 pound, then that is important to keep in mind. If it's over 1 pound, then you want to take a look at the flat rate shipping options, so the flat rate envelope options, and we'll go over that in a minute. So hopefully you guys are still with me on there. If you guys have questions, let me know. But with the catalog, I do have cellophane envelopes that are sealed like this that are longer, and it fits a folded catalog. Okay. I love the look of the cellophane with the catalog because I feel like it just gives a really great presentation. It doesn't have a lot of excess. So the catalog is folded. I can throw in my Y Posh. I can throw in samples. I can You know, I can do lots of stuff. Like you can throw in a chunk sample, which obviously is thicker than 1/4 of an inch, but it's not a big deal. You're not going to use a 70-cent stamp, so you can throw in chunk sample, you can throw in Lacon samples. Keep it under a pound, which, you know, it's not very hard to do to keep it under a pound, but if you do all that, including a thank you note and all that fun stuff, then you can do that in the cellophane bag that fits the catalog, and I can't remember the size of it right now that I use, but again, it's in the what's it called? Team page. Sorry, files in the team page. So you can do that. That's about $2 to $3. That's a really great way to send out. I like to do it that way to send out like hostess packets or recruiting packets. Or something like that. Like you could throw a lip balm in there. So if you're sending out recruiting packets, I love to be able to include some sort of like good size sample in there for them to use while they are looking through everything. So I'm either sending them like a deluxe sample pack or a lip balm or a chunk sample, something that is going to that's a little bit more substantial for them to use while they are looking through everything. So you can do it in the cellophane pack that with the folded catalog, which I couldn't find mine unfortunately, but they are long. They're long like this one and just fits the catalog folded. Now, if that is not something that you're wanting or you're needing something a little bit more space, then these here, and I believe this is like a 9x12 padded mailer and bubble wrap mailer, and this is something that I have. These are like staples. So I have the padded mailers in 2 sizes. So I have the smaller size, and then the larger size, okay? I cannot remember the sizing on them right now, so I will have to look it up. But, so you see the difference here, slightly different. But I like the larger ones because they will fit a catalog folded in here, and I can throw more stuff on here. So if I'm sending out like portable parties or hostess packets that include more samples to pass out, so again, a mini portable party, then I'm using this. And this is going to, as long as it's under 1 pound, then you can use this as a flat rate mailer, or flat rate, I'm sorry, first class. So that is going to be inexpensive, okay? I also putting out orders, so if I'm doing sales or flash sales or VIP sales or whatever from my cash and carry, then I love using this for the larger items or multiple items. I'm shipping out only a few things or smaller items, then I'm using this mailer, okay? This mailer, again, is another great one. I use this to ship out. This will fit like a full body butter tub with some others, like a hand or something like that. Or it'll fit like 3 chunk bars, or, you know, I think 3, I don't know, a bunch of hand creams. Now, that's the whole thing, is that you can put in a bunch of stuff in here, but you need to make sure that it's under 1 pound if you want to have the best deal. If it's going to be over a pound, then we are going to move over to the flat rate envelopes. Okay. Now, there are, I don't have any of it on here, but there is the harder one that's not padded, which is slightly cheaper, or you have this padded flat rate envelope that's going to cost a little bit more to ship out. It's just over, I think, $6 currently to ship this out, or something like that. I can't even remember. Prices change all the time. So roughly $6. So this is like maybe 50 cents more than the other envelope that you'll see in post offices. If your post office doesn't have this, you can actually order this and get it shipped to your house for free. So the post office does offer that. But this is really good because if you're doing like VIP sales or anything like that and people are purchasing multiple products, then it's going to be very likely that it's going to exceed 1 pound. And if in that case, then you should take a look at this, okay? So if you're doing the flat rate mailers, then you can easily throw in a catalog. You can basically fill it to the brim and ship it out for the same price. Now, these are basically staples when I ship out anything for like VIP sales and stuff, because usually people will order more than a few products, and in that case they've already hit that pound limit. That's my mental limit. If it's over a pound, then I'm going to be doing this. If you're doing let's see, if you're doing Posh boxes, so pampering boxes, you can, so the subscription box, you don't necessarily have to use a box. You can. There are flat rate options from the post office, like the small flat rate, which is a slightly smaller box that you can fit maybe a mask or so, something small in there, and chunk. But if you want something that's going to be a little bigger, you can look at your own corrugated box options, which I have ordered, and they fit very snugly in the flat rate envelope. But in my personal experience, I actually just ship it in the corrugated box myself, because I feel like it's just a little bit easier and a little bit more it's a fun presentation to be able to open that box, right? But you can definitely do your padded pampering subscriptions with the flat rate envelope. That is something, or with the pink envelope. It doesn't necessarily have to be a box. So if that's something that you want to get going in, but you do not have the money to invest in more shipping containers, then that's what I would recommend doing, is taking a look at what the post office has for you in that way. Okay. Now, other things that you might want to consider when you are shipping stuff out, take a look at the oh my gosh, the shipping scale. So if you're teetering over some ounces, right? Like if it's the same cost to ship within a certain range, then maybe it might be worth it to send a little extra sample or a little extra information to stay within that same pricing range. So it's very simple. Just look it up for USPS, like postage rates and stuff, and you can kind of find that there. For shipping from home, the cheapest, the most cost-effective way to ship from home is by using by printing your postage at home. And there are a multitude of options for you to do that. You can use PayPal shipping. You can use stamps.com, which does, I think, require a subscription, so I actually don't use stamps.com because of that yet. I haven't found it quite necessary for my needs just yet. You can use GoShippo. That's another one that other people recommend. You do pay a fee for each postage you print out, but it does have some features that the PayPal shipping doesn't have. So just take a look at whatever you think is best for you. And then, or the post office. So the post office also has their own shipping options on their website that you can look at as well. But you're going to have a discounted rate on the online at home versus going into the post office, and you don't have to wait in line, so there is the added benefit of that. Obviously, you're paying for like postage and printing and stuff like that, but you don't have to wait in line, and you can get all your packages prepared at home. So if you're shipping a bunch, then that helps a ton. I personally use PayPal at the moment. I have used GoShippo. And I don't really know if I found one to be better than the other. I use address labels to make things a little bit easier when I'm just using a stamp. But I have my 70-cent stamps. I do have my regular stamps. I have my postcard stamps as well. And so there's a lot of different stamps that I have, but it makes it a lot easier for me to get packages ready to ship. As far as printing your postage goes, there are, again, other different options for you when you're looking at printing postage. You can print just on regular printer paper and then tape it to your package, or you can do something else. So if you're shipping a ton, then I actually would recommend taking a look at different options for your shipping labels, so that you're not constantly cutting and taping and just doing all that stuff. So you can get a label maker. A lot of people really like the Dymo 4XL label printer, or you can that is a pricier one though. So think about, don't necessarily need it, but if you do get that one actually prints a ton of different sizes. So I've seen people use it to print labels for everything. So catalogs, samples, everything. So the people have been, there's a lot of people that really like it because of the what they're able to use it for. Another option that I have or have to share with you guys is half sheet adhesive labels. So it's a full sheet of full sheet of adhesive paper, and it's split in half so that you can print postage on one side of it, rip it off, and apply it to your package very easily. So that is another option that I found to be very very easy to use. There's really, you just use that instead of printer paper, so you don't necessarily have to be very tech savvy. There's really no way to really mess that up because it is very easy. It's just like paper, but it's already sticky. You don't have to worry about taping. So that is kind of one thing that I kind of wish I'd known about before, because I was printing and like cutting out my labels and, you know, cutting them because it's from a full sheet, so I'd have to cut it and then I have to tape it, and that was a pain in the butt. So having adhesive labels sheets were really, really, really useful. So that I feel like is a happy medium if you're not able to afford the Dymo printer just yet, or if it's not necessary for you to get that just yet. So that is kind of, okay, so I think, okay, so Postage. All right, I think that I covered it all. So if you guys have questions, let me know. Things to keep in mind is that if you have maybe you have a budget for how much you can ship or how much you can spend in postage each month, or if you're factoring that in with your different like VIP orders or whatnot, then be careful and make sure you're paying attention to how much things cost when you are purchasing and when you are oh my gosh, like pricing things. I found it to be cheapest to be able to buy things in bulk. So I like from Amazon. You can do it, like you can look at other package places like Uline and stuff. You can always go into group buys, and so if you have anybody in your area that wants to go in on a giant order of envelopes or something like that, that's another way to look at it, is another way to look at things as well. The address labels I think are great. Labels are just, they make it so much easier rather than having to handwrite everything or rather than taping everything yourself. So even just the act of printing out address labels rather than handwriting every single label is so much nicer than you might think. The holidays are coming up, so if you are doing holiday cards for your customers, the address labels might be something that you might want to take a look at so that you're not cramping up when you are writing them out. And you can get started now on that as well. So hopefully this helps you guys out. Oh, the one thing I forgot to mention was that while you're doing all this postage at home and you're wondering how in the world you're supposed to know how much everything weighs, I recommend getting a digital kitchen scale. You don't need to get any fancy made for postage scale. All you need is a very simple digital scale. It can be a kitchen scale. Well, that's what I have. I have a kitchen scale that I've had it for longer than I've been with Posh actually, and it has been a champion. I've had to replace batteries a couple times, but for the most part it has not had any issues, and it cost me, I believe, no more than $20, and it's lasted me forever. So that is actually one of my most favorite things that I have for my business, because it makes things so incredibly easy to, you know, estimate postage, to calculate postage, etc. But yeah, so definitely take a look at getting one of those. That is a worthy investment, so that you can save money at home when you're printing out your postage. So yeah, envelopes, labels, digital scales, pretty much the biggest things that I want you guys to keep in mind. If you guys do have questions on anything, be sure to let me know. If there's something that I missed about how to ship something, then be sure to reach out, because I think I covered it all, but it's likely that I missed something. So again, if you guys do have questions, you can always comment on this later. If you want, you can always reach out to your sponsor or your premier leader as well, or reach out to the team page and see how everyone else is shipping out their stuff. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. You don't necessarily need to have pink mailers. You don't necessarily need the cello bags, the clear cello bags. It really is up to you how you want it, how you do it, and I'd love to see what you guys are coming up with. So please feel free to share in the team page, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night.